Today you're going to be working on a performance task. When you do a performance task, you're going to be writing to a prompt. So let's talk about what does that mean to write to a prompt. 5 steps that you can take when you're writing to a prompt to help you to be successful. Step 1, read the prompt carefully. You want to make sure you understand what it's asking. Step 2, ask yourself, what is this prompt asking me to do? What am I supposed to write? What kind of story is it asking you to write? Is it asking you to write an opinion, a narrative, an informational story? Make sure you understand that before you begin writing. The 3rd step is restate the prompt in your own words to make sure you understand it. You want to make sure that it's in your words, so it's something that you know how to do. So restate it in your own words to make sure it makes sense to you. The 4th step is, what are you going to need to use from what we've read to help you with your writing? So think about the stories that we've read and which stories do you need to go back to help you with your writing. And the last step is complete every part of the writing process. Planning, which is always important, drafting or writing your story, revising, which is changing the meaning of the story, looking for ways to make the story better, editing, which is looking for punctuation and spelling mistakes, and publishing. We always want to publish our story. So now I want you to get your My Book and turn in your My Book to page 102. If you need to pause the video at this time, so that way you can go get your My Book, or while you're flipping to page 102, go ahead and do that, and then push play again when you're ready. While you're doing that, I'm going to go get my book as well. You should be looking at page 102 in your My Book. That's what I'm doing also. When you look at that page, you see the essential question at the top. Put your finger on that question mark. That's where we're going to read the essential question. What makes a character interesting? We've definitely read about a lot of interesting characters this week and last week and the week before. When I think about the characters in this module, which were the last 3 weeks of school, when I think about these characters, each of them were memorable to me because of ways that they solved problems. Thinking about how each of those characters solved a different problem in their own lives can help us look about how we solve problems in our lives as well. So here we go to the prompt. Maybe. My screen's being weird, sorry. So we're trying to go to the prompt. We're looking at the prompt that says, think about the characters you read about in this module. What makes each character someone to remember? Imagine that your class is creating a book about memorable characters that have made an impact on you. Write a personal narrative about a time when a story character gave you an idea about how to solve a problem. Use evidence from the text for example and support. So I need to remember the main characters. What about you? We've read a lot of stories these last few weeks. So turn back to page 14 in your My Book. On page 14 in your My Book, it shows you each of the 5 characters that we've read about. Zach, Scaredy Squirrel, Marisol McDonald, Judy Moody, and Stink. Maybe you want to write about a time that you solved a problem like Zach, like when you were brave and you did something that you were a little bit scared of, but you were brave and you did like Zach and you tried and you tried and you didn't give up and you finally faced your fears. Or maybe you want to write about Marisol McDonald and how she helped you solve a problem. Maybe you felt different and you didn't feel like you fit in, and you realize that just being yourself can help you to be happy and to just love who you are. Or maybe you solved a problem like Stink or Scaredy Squirrel or Judy Moody. Whichever character you choose, think about how that character has helped you to solve a problem in your own life, or a time that you can relate to that character. And on this line right here, I want you to write it down. I'm going to write about the time when so write about what you are writing about. What's the topic of your personal narrative? Write that on the line right now. When you start to write your personal narrative, make sure it introduces the memorable character, sets up the problem, uses text evidence and examples as support, tells what you are thinking and feeling, explains what happens in a clear order, and has an ending that shows how the problem was solved. This is in a checklist at the bottom of page 102, so you can refer back to it as you need it. And you can even check in the boxes when you've included those things in your story. The next step is planning. Now, this is when I'm going to leave you and let you get to work. You know how to plan a story. You know how to write your story. In revising and editing, it gives you a checklist to help you along the way. So right now, in your My Book, you're going to complete each of these next sections on page 103, 104, and 105 just has a checklist for you to follow when you revise and edit. Do not tear these pages out of your My Book. Leave them in there so you'll have them forever and ever. And when you turn your My Book in, then I'll look at it at that time. Good luck, happy writing, and compare yourself to these characters. Put yourself in their shoes. See what it's like to be Stink or Scaredy Squirrel. And how did you solve the problems in your life, just like those characters? Have a great day.